This week we'll be reviewing The Wrath of Man starring Jason Statham, which is a Guy Ritchie movie. And for those of you guys who don't know, I am a big Guy Ritchie fan. I love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, Sherlock Holmes, Revolver. He's one of my favorite personal directors. And he's actually the guy that put Jason Statham on the map in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. So in this movie, they reunite, and you realize at the beginning of the movie there's this big bank heist, kind of almost like very reminiscent of Heat at the beginning of the movie. And after this bank heist comes on, you meet Jason Statham's character, who is named H, and he seems to be wanting to get a job at this armored transport company who does all the shipping of money within this particular town. And he seems something's a little bit off, and you don't realize exactly what it is, but he's going through the test and he's making sure that he's going to pass the test so he can get in on the inside. And this movie, I don't want to give too much away because it's really interesting, and the way that it's told is unique. But you come to realize that he has a different motivation than what you realize initially for why he's there and how it all ties together to the original bank heist. It's a very interesting way. It's a very visceral film. The Wrath of Man, it's appropriately titled because you start to find out what his motivations what his motivation is for being a part of the armored truck company, and also how it personally relates to him and what he's gone through and what he's trying to do. What do you think of the movie, Aaron?
Well, I think this is the best heist film since Heat. It has one of the coolest shootout scenes towards the last third of the film that is something to remember. But I hated the film. Like, I don't know what it is with Guy Ritchie. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've actually seen the movie twice now because I liked it so much. This film is interesting. I actually enjoyed it a lot better the second time. Okay. I saw this on Friday with my wife because I knew we were going to watch it and I wasn't really going to have a chance to go again. So, or to go see it if I didn't go on Friday. So we went to a showing at the Cine One. And here's what I did. I'm going to talk about what I didn't like first.
No, talk about what you liked first. Go back around to what you didn't like.
The music, it was pounding the whole time.
Okay.
And the theme never changes. Like, it's the same constant pounding. To me, it seemed like they were trying to mimic what Christopher Nolan does in his films. And I didn't think that this composer was on that level.
Okay.
And so it almost got grating at times. But that's about the only thing I didn't like. The other thing I will tell you is this movie is told out of order. And if it was told in order, it wouldn't be nearly as strong a film.
No.
And that's where the real key is to this movie, is in the way in which the story unfolds. And the second time, I was able to pick up on a lot of things I didn't catch the first time.
Okay.
It's actually more brilliantly done in that manner. Like, it was really well thought out. So great cast of characters. I think the movie, the beginning is fantastic. It keeps you engaged. And then all of a sudden it does that time switch, right? To go back and tell the story of how we got to that point. And that's where the movie, to me, awesome.
Yeah.
It slowed way down. And I enjoyed it a lot more the second time, but the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, they had to do it though. Like, they had to go back and they had to tell these stories. They had to get you caught up. But some of it went on, I think, a little too long. And honestly, by the end of the movie, you still don't know really anything about Jason Statham's character.
Yeah, there's still some question marks.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah. So, but it's brilliantly done. For people who go into this thinking it's a Jason Statham film and they're like, I'm going to stay away, I don't like his movies because they're ridiculous. You got to give this movie a shot. This is his most realistic film that he has ever done. Not to say it doesn't have its moments in there, but it's not going to be like, this is not a goofy film. It's not an over the top film. And so it's his most grounded role that he's ever played. I walked away very satisfied with the movie. You have Scott Eastwood in there. You've got, I don't remember the guy's name. He's popped up in like 3 or 4 of the movies that we've reviewed so far. And who else was in there? You had
Post Malone.
Yeah, Post Malone. He has a great role towards the beginning of the movie. So there's quite a few characters in here that you're going to recognize. Oh, and Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
Haven't seen him in a long time. Disappointed with what they did with his character. I don't think they really gave him anything to do in the film. Take his character out, and it doesn't add or take anything away from the movie. So I was a little disappointed because I haven't seen him in a movie, I think, since Pearl Harbor. So now I make it sound like there's a lot of negative things, but there's not. This is actually a really well done film. For me to go see it twice in just a couple of days, yeah. What was your score on this?
Well, for me, I have to talk a little bit more about it. Guy Ritchie, he's a great visionary director. And a lot of the movies that you see are not necessarily linear. And he has a great way of making it relatable, but making it interesting. So no matter what stories he tells, from Sherlock Holmes to Snatch to even Aladdin, I know, which is not your favorite movie, but is one of mine, the live action Aladdin. He does a great job of figuring out what it is, the story that needs to be told, and telling it in a way that's compelling and interesting. And he doesn't fail here. You get to see Jason Statham character have some depth. Lots of times in movies, he's very surface. He's just, what you see on the screen, reacting to what's going on in the world. But in this situation, you find out his motivations, you find out his desires, his passions, the things that makes him tick a little bit, and you can see how his character kind of deals with a very difficult and tough situation, and how he uses his skill set to try to remedy that. And it was a really interesting movie. What I would say as a final score for me, I'm again with between the 7 to 8, but it was an 8 because of who directed it and because of how it was directed. It was just told in a unique way that you don't often see. You see it from like you said, a Christopher Nolan. It's almost along those same lines of storytelling, as far as what he does with time. We're obviously not talking about Tenet, of course, though, but in relation to all of his other movies with what he does
Right.
with time. And Jason Statham and a few other character actors did a very good job. Their roles were interesting. They made the characters come alive,
Mhm.
and it's just a well put together movie. It wouldn't say it's quite as visceral as Without Remorse on Amazon Prime, but it is definitely a better story and better told. So for me, I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit. I'm going to give it an 8. And I think if you're a Jason Statham fan, you're going to love this movie. And if you're just I'm not going to give it a film score, but you know what? I'll give it a 6 as a film score. It gets a 6 as a film score. There's something a little bit there. And you've watched it a couple of times. Maybe you'll have a higher film score than
Oh
me,
yeah.
but it's definitely a little substance there. It's not just a movie. So what do you think?
Well, for my score, I toyed with 8 or 9.
Mm,
And I've teetered. I think after the second time, I'm more teetering towards a 9, but I'm going to give it an 8.
mhm,
That's my original score on this. Definitely worth seeing. I think it's way more visceral and way more engaging than anything that Without Remorse had. So
mhm,
I was very satisfied with it. And I give it a high film score.
mhm.
I give it an 8 also,
Wow.
because you don't know, watching the film, you don't know everybody's motivations and where they lie and
Mhm,
where their allegiances are. There's so many blurred lines through this movie, and when you find out about his backstory, there's other people connected to him that work with some of the agencies like the FBI,
mhm,
and it's just this weird relationship, things that
mhm,
hopefully this gets some kind of a sequel and we get to see more of this character, because it opens the door for many more stories.
mhm.
So I do give it an 8 for a film score as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice. Well, that's all we have for you guys this week. We want to thank you guys, all of you guys who follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Audible. Continue to listen and watch, and we'll see you guys next week. I'm Lamont Lovejoy.
I'm Aaron Fisher.
We'll see you guys soon.